Change your life. The Zig Ziglar way. There are moments in life when everything seems to go wrong. Your plans fail. Your confidence becomes weak. People disappoint you. Opportunities disappear. You work hard, but the results do not come quickly. In those moments, it is easy to believe that your circumstances are controlling your future. But Zig Ziglar, one of the most influential motivational speakers of his generation, taught a powerful lesson. You may not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can choose how you respond. And sometimes, changing your response is the first step toward changing your entire life. Zig Ziglar became famous for a message built around motivation, personal development, goals, positive thinking, character, and action. His philosophy was not simply about telling people to think positively. He connected attitude with effort and action. Ziglar's organization describes this idea clearly. A positive attitude does not make every task possible, but it can help you approach everything better than a negative attitude. This is the difference between empty optimism and useful optimism. A positive attitude is not pretending that life is easy. It is believing that difficulty does not have to defeat you. Think about two people who face the same problem. One person sees the problem and immediately says, "This is impossible. I cannot do it. Nothing will ever change." The other person looks at the same problem and asks, "What can I do next?" The situation has not changed. The difficulty is still there. But something important has changed: the person's attitude. One person is controlled by the problem. The other person is searching for a response. That small difference can create a completely different future. Your attitude influences your actions. If you believe that nothing can change, you will probably stop trying. If you believe that improvement is possible, you are more likely to learn, practice, work, and continue. This is why the battle for success often begins inside your mind before it appears in your circumstances. Imagine a student sitting in front of a difficult book. The subject seems confusing. The student studies one page and understands almost nothing. A negative attitude says, "I am not intelligent enough. I will never understand this." The student closes the book. But another student faces exactly the same difficulty and says, "I do not understand this yet. I will study it again. I will ask questions. I will practice." The second student has not suddenly become more intelligent. The difference is persistence. The difference is attitude. This lesson applies far beyond education. It applies to your career, your relationships, your finances, your personal goals, and your dreams. Every important goal will eventually present a difficult moment. The question is not whether difficulty will come. The question is who you will become when it arrives. Failure is one of the greatest tests of attitude. When you fail, you have a choice. You can allow failure to become your identity, or you can allow failure to become your teacher. A failure is an event. It is not your entire identity. You may fail at something today and become better at it tomorrow. You may lose an opportunity today and discover another opportunity later. You may make a mistake today and gain wisdom that prevents a bigger mistake in the future. Ziglar understood that success requires persistence. His official material repeatedly connects motivation with persistence and action. This is important because motivation does not always remain high. There will be mornings when you feel powerful and confident. There will also be mornings when you feel tired, discouraged, and uncertain. If you only work when you feel motivated, your progress will always depend on your emotions. But when you develop discipline, you can continue even when motivation becomes weak. That is where real growth begins. You wake up and do the work. You study when you would rather use your phone. You practice when you would rather relax. You continue your project when nobody is watching. You take another step when the previous step did not produce the result you wanted. These small decisions may not look powerful in the moment, but repeated over time, they can completely change your direction. Your life is built from small choices. One decision may seem insignificant. 1 hour of study may not change your life. One workout may not transform your body. One page of writing may not create a successful career. But 1 hour repeated every day becomes hundreds of hours. One workout repeated consistently becomes a habit. One page written every day eventually becomes a large body of work. Consistency turns small actions into powerful results. This is why attitude must be connected with action. You can have the most positive thoughts in the world, but if you never act, your dreams remain dreams. Ziegler's approach emphasized not only inspiration but also practical effort and skills. Your attitude should not become an excuse to avoid reality. Instead, it should give you the strength to face reality and do something about it. When you change your attitude, you begin asking better questions. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," you ask, "What do I need to learn?" Instead of saying, "I failed," you ask, "What can I do differently next time?" These questions move your mind from helplessness to responsibility. Your inner voice matters. The words you repeat to yourself can influence your confidence and your behavior. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, incapable, or unlucky, those thoughts can become mental barriers. But if you remind yourself that you can learn, improve, and continue, you create a different mental environment. This does not mean lying to yourself. It means refusing to destroy yourself with negative thinking. You can recognize your weaknesses without believing that you are permanently weak. You can accept that you made a mistake without believing that you are a failure. You can admit that something is difficult without deciding that it is impossible. Ziglar also emphasized the importance of hope. His organization describes its mission around inspiring, encouraging, and equipping people with hope and practical information. Hope matters because without hope, people often stop taking action. When you believe that tomorrow can be better, you become willing to work today. But hope needs a plan. A dream without action remains only a dream. A goal gives your effort direction. When you know what you want and why you want it, you can begin deciding what must be done. You can break a large goal into smaller steps. You can focus on today's work instead of becoming overwhelmed by the entire journey. Do not worry about completing the entire mountain today. Focus on the next step. The person climbing a mountain does not reach the top by jumping. They reach it by taking one step, then another, then another. Your life works in much the same way. Another powerful part of changing your attitude is learning to control your attention. Every day, your mind receives messages from people, social media, news, conversations, and your own thoughts. Some of these messages encourage you. Others create fear, comparison, jealousy, and hopelessness. You cannot control everything you hear, but you can become more careful about what you allow to dominate your mind. Protect your attention. Read things that help you grow. Listen to ideas that challenge you to become better. Spend time with people who encourage positive action. Learn from criticism when it is useful, but do not allow every negative opinion to become your identity. Your environment matters because your thoughts influence your actions. If you constantly surround yourself with people who tell you that your dreams are impossible, you may eventually stop pursuing them. But when you learn from people who have overcome difficulties, you begin to see new possibilities. This does not mean that everyone around you must agree with you. Sometimes the people who challenge you can help you grow. The important thing is to recognize the difference between useful criticism and destructive negativity. A positive attitude also means accepting responsibility. You cannot control your past. You cannot control every person's opinion. You cannot control every opportunity. You cannot control every unexpected event. But you can control your effort. You can control your preparation. You can control your response. You can control whether you learn from a mistake.